morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy hump day, everyone. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame here. Bit of a narrow range heading into the RTH Open right now, 24.75 points of range. That's 49% of average range, and this is after we had some pre-market economic data come out, including a big beat out of ADP non-farm employment change coming in at 233,000 versus a 101,000 estimate. Previous was 159K. We also had GDP coming in just shy of estimates here, 2.8% versus 3% quarter over quarter. And core PCE prices coming in at 2.2% versus 2.10 estimate. So overall, seeing a little bit of compression here, even despite those economic data points. We are seeing a market here that continues to be a bit range bound ahead of the presidential election in the states here coming up soon. You can see some compression toward the apex of this range as well. And at the moment, a bit of rejection above two-day highs. So prices rejecting two-day highs right now and rotating back into the day's range. Overall, we could be looking at further kind of range-bound price action here. But the key level to continue to watch is really kind of 5,800. 5,800 here, and the previous quarter's high price, which is around 5,830, right in that zone. That's going to be very important to continue to watch here over the next several days, as a box has developed right here above the previous quarter's high price. The tendency there could be a failure that rotates prices back into the range. But given the overall uptrending market, even if a pullback were to occur, that could be an opportunity for bulls to pick it up and continue to rotate this thing to new highs. We've seen similar price action in the previous quarter. You can see this box that develops here above the previous quarter's high and a rotation back down. This box that develops here at the same spot and rotates down. This time around right here, continued higher, and now we're sitting on these highs. So again, still trending up overall. Kind of a needling pattern here, this kind of uptrending wedge here. That can tend to be a sign of the market losing steam, and perhaps you see a bit of rotation downward off of that. But again, until proven otherwise, we are stuck in the range, and you got to continue to fade the edges until proven otherwise. From a near-term intraday perspective, 5840 has been bid. 5840 right here, that's been bid over the last several days, and 5900 has been offered. So if we get to one of those edges, that could provide a fade opportunity. Looking at the NQ here, you'll see the NQ showing a bit of reaction to prices above the previous session's high. So a bit of a higher high failure right now, a little bit of a thrust reversal sell signal developing. That could open up a return back toward the midpoint of the previous session's range. We did get Google earnings after the market closed in the previous session, and that saw strength after hours. We also get earnings after the closing bell today, including Meta and Microsoft. So Meta and Microsoft come into play here later on today. That's going to be big. And of course, on Thursday, Halloween, we get Apple and Amazon earnings, which will be very important as well. So big tech continues to be on board here. And you can see how the market closed outside day, especially with Google earnings late in the session. But right now, seeing a little bit of a reaction here at the previous session's high. Maybe there's a rotation into about the 20,600 level. But the uptrend remains intact. Very clear range-bound price action with an upward bias right now. So any pullback could be a very short-term counter-trend move, and we could see prices continue to be mostly range-bound. Right now, 20,400 to 20,450 is a zone for bulls to defend until proven otherwise. Looking at crude oil. Crude oil right now up 2%. I've mentioned before here that this one continues to be a sell on strength. This market right now seeing an initial reaction to the prices above the previous session's high. So it pushed beyond the previous session's high and is now dipping just below it at the moment, so early signs of weakness. There was a pop right on the release of the pre-market data here to the upside. Prices were sitting at about 68, popped to the upside nearly a buck. But in the downtrend here, again, any strength could be seen as a selling opportunity by eager bears to push this thing lower still. Any failure to get beyond 69s would likely suggest a rotation back into the range, back towards 68, maybe even lower. Today, above 69, and you start to open up some upside, but again, any strength could be seen as a selling opportunity until proven otherwise in crude oil, especially given the current directional conviction of the month and given the seasonality right now of this commodity. Seasonally speaking, price tends to find a high in early mid-October, and that tends to play out here into the middle of December. So we're still looking at a seasonally bearish pattern here for crude oil, and 69 going to be the early key level to continue to watch here. Looking at gold futures, this one's up about 0.5% right now, continues to drive to new highs. A late day pop yesterday pushed this thing higher still, and we continue to see this market drive to new highs. The early idea here was that price would work its way toward 2,800 in the best case scenario by the end of the month, and we got there today. 2,800 new all-time highs. To begin the month here, heading into the end of September, we mentioned any pullback could be a buying opportunity for a push into 2,750 and 2,800. It fulfilled that move here today, finishing out the last portion of that target. You can see right now heading into next month, which begins Friday, we have a higher value relationship and currently a bullish confirming close, which means any pullback is an opportunity for bulls to defend it yet again. We've been on this buy the dip kind of pattern here for the last several months, as this market has remained highly bullish ever since bouncing off 2,000 way below. So it's been an 800-point rally from the lows at 2,000, and we continue to see strength overall. So any pullback could continue to be a buying opportunity in gold until proven otherwise moving forward. Looking at the YM right now, the YM marginally lower here, is testing prices below the previous 2-day lows, which is quite different from the ES and the NQ, which are testing prices above the previous highs. This market has lagged a bit here, comparatively speaking, and is sitting on top of the 42K support level. That's going to be an important support level to continue to watch. You have a bit of a head and shoulder style pattern that's developing at the moment. Still an overall upward trend for this market. You can see kind of the channeling behavior here. So even if we were to stab downward in a rejection, say something like this or something like that, could provide another buying opportunity for continuation higher. If we fail at 4,200, you start to open up a return that could take us as deep as year-to-date VWAP and the 200-day moving average. That value pocket right there spans from 39,700 to 40,000. All right, looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a huge day in the previous session, hit new all-time highs at 74,485. That's new all-time highs beyond the previous highs that were set here in middle of March. Those highs were 415 rather, 74,415. Yesterday, 74,485. So a big time continuation here throughout the month. We're now at the highs of the recent rectangular range that has developed since March. You can see here basically 75K this way. You got 55K somewhere like that this way, 65K here, and you have kind of this range that has developed. We've gotten a little bit below it on a couple of occasions and snapped back in a big way. Now that we've reached the highs, do we back off a bit? Do we back off a bit, especially into the next month? We do have a higher value relationship, so we could see a marginal pullback to begin the next month. And then bulls could pick this thing up and try to extend this beyond 75K. Now, I did mention before that this market is trading on the 0 zeros here. So 50,000, 60,000, and 70,000. And to push through 70,000 in a big way here opens the door to 80,000 up ahead. And we also have a major key range. This key range right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-day impulse sell-off move. And then it snapped back to the middle of the key range, which is right at 60K. That key range right there forecasts a target of 92,200. So you can see right there, 92,285. That's your key range target. That's a very real target that could be hit by the end of the year, perhaps into Q1 of 2025. We're already seeing kind of an upward breakout through the top of that target. Any pullback could extend this thing to the upside. 81,555 would be a 50% extension, and then you have the 100% target at 92,285 ahead. So that could be a very real near-term target that could be hit down the road. Looking at Ethereum, this one outperformed Bitcoin yesterday, is currently up and outperforming today. However, it remains trapped within that 600-point distribution. As I mentioned before, the 2,800 level is very, very important right now to Ethereum. This one does have a very nice rounded bottom here. And if we can get ourselves one good transition day through 2,800, it could trigger a wave of strength that takes us back to 3,400 and 4,000 up ahead. So this is a massive amount of energy that's built up in this range, but needs a transition day through 2,800. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.